Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Whenever you're listening to this podcast, welcome to another episode of Talks with the Talks with the Tax Cop. Talks with the Tax Cop. I am your host, none other than Patrice L. Berry, EA, aka the Tax Cop herself. Glad to be in the building. Let me adjust my seat just a tad bit. All right. For those who are looking online, y'all seeing it all happen live in living color in the lab. Today's episode, I'm going to tell you why I have not been as consistent. I'm praying that we get this done. I'm going to keep it down because this is my third time recording this podcast today. Technology, not always my friend. I don't know what I'm doing, but we're going to get it done. All right, so I wanted to touch base, tell you why I've been missing in action. In reality, I told y'all I was going to be in season 2 and we're going to be consistent. And I started out and then we was chugging and I was getting it. And then I was not. And it had nothing to do with me getting bogged down in the tax season or anything like that. I've been out of tax season for a minute now. And I said I was going to start on June 1st. It had nothing to do with me not being ready to be in front of the camera because, Dominique Brett from Brave Skin Remedy has been doing the darn thing. My esthetician shout out. Hey, she been doing the thing with my face. My loctician, Renee Profit from Natural Centric, did the thing with my hair and got the stuff not being puffy. So it's not that. It's not being in front of the camera. That wouldn't stop me anyway. Let's be real. For recording my course and stuff like that was different. But on a day-to-day, I'm recording content. I'm recording for my clients. I'm answering stuff via video. I record videos to break down tax returns line by line. For those who don't know, we have a virtual tax firm where yours truly actually does the final review and breaks stuff down. I do client meetings 2 times a week where I'm in front of the clients virtually, because we are a virtual firm, via Zoom, and we record our conversations because we got to have stuff to refer back to when I need action steps. So it's not being in front of the camera that's the issue. Your girl ain't the swiftest with tech, so she's taking courses and learning how to work in platforms and understand that the cameras are different on things and getting her lighting straight, making sure it's the right time of the day. And so I'm doing all those things. Right, I'm making the investment. I'm doing the things to be better, to scale up, to be able to present things better. I'm doing it, right? However, it really had to do with I had to check myself. I had to do a major sanity check, get stuff straight because, of course, this is not the best time because everybody's moving, right? So I'm listening to the other stuff behind me. I had to get stuff straight because life required me to get it straight. Oh, I had to work on myself. I really did. And I had to check on what was going to work, what was not going to work, what was going to get me, what was not going to get me. Mainly because of today's topic. Today's topic is accounting/accountant trauma. I want to talk about it primarily from the consumer or client stance. I get it. I get why it exists, just like financial trauma and emotional trauma and all these other traumas exist. Accountant trauma exists, where people are out here jumping from accountant to accountant, bookkeeper to bookkeeper, tax pro to tax pro, because the stuff just not right. And I want to break that down and explain why that is the case and the things that we need to do better in my industry and what you as the consumer need to be looking for. So we're going to just break that down, right? Keep it tight and concise. But I had to get myself right mentally to be like, how can I present this information that's been, like, we got some topics that I want to present, but how can I present it in a way that doesn't seem condescending, disturbing, and gets the intent across that I'm trying to get across? I want the message that the true message that I'm trying to convey to come across and people not get caught up in the fact that I'm saying what I'm saying from my tonality, but actually listen to the content that I'm saying. So for me, that truly is what it was. Nothing more, nothing less. I needed to get me right. I needed to go into a space to figure out how I wanted to best serve. I absolutely love recording the podcast. Truthfully, like recording a podcast is cool. I prefer to do videos where we are our content, our episodes, podcast episodes where I'm interviewing people. I love interviewing. Why? Because I was an auditor for so long, right? And interviewing and getting information directly from the source and comparing it to the criteria was critical for me. Like going out in the field was where all the magic happened, right? Like that's MTV, right? Where all the magic came down and everything came together and where it made sense. Observation is one of our number one tests, right? The number one test. And accounting, right? When you're trying to figure out evidence and making sure everything works together the way it's supposed to. So I love that aspect. Getting testimonial evidence, then going out and observing it being put in play. I like that combo. That combo works for me. It makes me stronger in my field. And so that's where I segue into why accountant trauma exists. Right? So the reason why accountant trauma exists is because in my industry, somewhere along the lines, we have forgotten, y'all have heard me say this before, we have forgotten that we are in the area of customer service. It's not about us being smarter than anyone at all. Yes, we go to school, we got different technical skills, but I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. Accounting, taxes, bookkeeping, all of that stuff truly is basic math. It's rules, but it's basic math. Any of my clients know that come to me, I tell you, taxes is nothing more but addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. I say it again, taxes is nothing more than addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. It's about knowing the rules and where everything resides. That's the same thing with accounting. Trying to figure out debits and credits is rules to that joint. But we doing basic solving for X or Z or Y. We not doing calculus. How I know? I done took calculus twice. We done had to solve for coefficients, figure out the derivatives. Right, we might got some fractions in that joint. We got some percentages, but you ain't nothing you can't do with your trusty calculator. That's what accounting is. It's the rules, it's the nuances, it's knowing where everything resides on what statement, and getting from the W-2 earner, the 1099 contractor, the business owner, the story behind them numbers. That is why I say we have failed you in this industry. And the reason why y'all have accounting trauma, you rightfully have it, is because we've forgotten that accounting is not transactional. I'm going to say it again. Accounting is not transactional. We do work in transactions. That's the smallest piece. That's the start of everything, is the transaction. However, your relationship with an accountant, your relationship with a bookkeeper, your relationship with a tax pro, your relationship with the person who's trying to solve your tax problem, the relationship with somebody who's working on your nonprofit, the relationship is not transactional. And yet we all want to operate in this field and in these streets like everything is a transaction. It is not. The relationship is about communication. It truly is. It's just about communication. I actually did this podcast. I did a live on this last year, I think, on Instagram. I can't find it, but I did. It's a conversation. It's community. It's about where we break down things to the base level and we communicate stuff at our core to get your information documented to depict what happened in the past. Woo! Girl, can you say that one more time? Yes, I can. We have got to break that down to the bareness of the conversation, ask all the right questions, get all the information out of you so that we can take it to its core and document that in numbers to depict what happened in the past. So that you can, number one, make decisions off of past information, and number two, be able to forecast and budget out for the future. Budgeting and forecasting is for the future. Financial statements, right? Tax returns document stuff that has happened in the past. but it's still great information. I'm gonna pause here and solidify why it's communication, why it's truly communication. I have a client that I've been working with since 2020, since the panini, right? So love this client, absolutely do adore the client. But when they first hired me, it was to do one thing and one thing only: get some stuff straight, have stuff move forward. And the theme that they constantly say to me is, the people they work with in the past, the accountants they work with in the past, didn't listen. That stood out to me. They didn't listen. And so I knew that them being heard was key for them. And so I did their stuff in the first year, and we pretty good. We had to do some stuff, right? It took me a moment to get it together, figure out some stuff, undo some stuff, put stuff back together so we could get a baseline. And we got it done. Then the next year they had some issues and was asking me some questions. I didn't have a purview of the whole picture because I was only asked to do one piece. And then they asked me, could I help them clean something up that had been done because they thought it was wrong. They wanted to have a conversation. I was like, yeah, this is what you do to resolve this. This is how we got to amend it, etc. And I fixed the piece. So it gave me a purview of a little bit more of it, right? And then this year, because they got frustrated, I ended up with more pieces of the puzzle on my plate, but it gave me the opportunity to see everything in totality, which I never had the purview to see. The previous year, I thought I had it. I know why, because on a Saturday morning, I was crying and I was talking to my husband and my business BFF, and I said, crying, how come I'm this way? Why can't I back off? Why do I keep asking questions? Why don't I stop digging? What is wrong with me? Why am I taking it to this level? Why am I peeling back the onion? Why can't I say enough is enough? Y'all, because I'm going to tell y'all, I ain't fast. My team is fast. I am not. I'm going to say that my team is fast. I love my team. I am not. I am an auditor by trade. I got to dig and dig deep. I got to make sure it's right. I got to make sure our foundation is cross-referenced. And I got to have an answer so when the people come, I ain't got to get ready. I already got the response. I be digging deep. That takes a little bit more time. I am not fast. I am thorough and I am efficient. And we will have covered every side. I'm going to get you from the top, the bottom, the sides. Where they might try to get you diagonal, I'm going to do it. Okay? And so it helped me to understand a little bit more. But then we got to this year and I got more of the pieces and they were like, why are you asking all these questions? Like, it got contentious. It got contentious. And I just definitely knew they was going to fire me. And that would have been okay. Because would have given my all. But in it, we had some conversations in March where it broke everything through. And it made me realize from stuff they were saying, from stuff they were asking me to do, we had to go back and they had to go back and build some financials for me, right? So we used some tools to build some financials. And when I read the financial statements, I realized something was off. And for the previous 2 years, based off of how everything was going, we threw stuff off on their financials. That transactional information got skewed because I thought we had the conversation that we did not end up having it until this past year, where I could see everything come together and it cost some money. This is why I say the conversation, the relationship is based on communication. It's not based on transactions. We have got to be in a situation, right, to break through this accounting trauma so that we can best serve each other. From the accounting side, the industry side, we got to be doing our best job of asking you as many questions as possible and getting as much information as possible. And even though it seems painful, I'm not going to tell you it's painless because my process is not. I will ask questions. You got to fill out an organizer. I will come back. I will ask 50 billion questions. I will do a video. I will put some stuff up. I will give you the source criteria. I'll be like, I don't understand. I'll ask you to schedule a meeting. I'm a dig. Right? I'm going to get it all together so I understand. And then I'm going to regurgitate it to you. You're going to be like, yo, I just told you that. But I do all of that to make sure we got a firm foundation and I'm closing the communication gap. So that I can, once it's done, I can portray all of that in the numbers and make sure the tax returns, the financial statements say what they're supposed to say. So it takes me time. especially if I've not been in it all year and I'm picking up your books because you did whatever you did with your books. And you didn't do a quarterly meeting and pay for the time for us to actually break that stuff down. That take time. And I got a team. Okay? So it's not about the money. It's about the conversation that we have, the way I get stuff out of you, the way I ask the questions to get the information to tell the whole story and capture it in numbers. So if you're not working with an accountant that does that, I understand why you have trauma. And if we're not creating environments for you to feel like you are in a safe space to be able to ask those questions, I understand why you have trauma. I get it. Now, you should be willing to work with someone. You know your budget. You know what you're willing to do and what you're willing not to give. You know what you have and what you don't have. But you should be willing to come to the conversation as well and not make it a set it and forget it type situation. With your bookkeeper, should not be set it and forget it. With your accountant, should not be set it and forget it. With your tax preparer, should not be set it and forget it. And definitely with somebody who's solving your tax problems, it can't be set it and forget it. It's time constraints on that stuff. You got to get the people what they want when they need it. You can't go away and not give us the documentation. So, from the consumer side of the house, you've got to be willing to ask the question till you understand it. And if we don't break it down in a way that you get it, ask us again. Be respectful. Be respectful, but ask us again. Make sure you walk away and understand it, and then regurgitate that thing so you understand it. Make it work. Parlay it, and translate it. Give us an analogy in your terms so that you get it. And make sure you walk away with action steps that you can implement. It is a dance. It is a relationship. It takes all of us to work together. Don't ever hand your stuff off and just be like, then you tell me the outcome and you have no idea. That's a dangerous place to be, because when an IRS notice come or something come and you don't know how to react, that's a problem. You should be able to go to somebody and be able to say, I read this, I'm panicking, I don't know what to do. Can you help me understand it? I'm unclear. I also want y'all to read. I want y'all to read y'all contracts. I want y'all to read y'all engagement letters. I want y'all to read y'all proposals. I want you to know what you getting. I want you to know what you paying for. I want you to know what you not getting. And if you ask for more in the scope, I want you to understand it's a cost associated with that. Don't be shocked. So y'all gotta find a fine tune of the scope so y'all can make it work for the both of you. But I'm not gonna tell you I don't understand why you had a trauma. You had a trauma because we're not doing a very good job of articulating what it is that we offer and what we bring to the table and what we're gonna do in this engagement, or separating engagements. We're not doing a great job of that, or we're not doing a great job of outlining it in engagement letters. Read it twice, check it off, let us know if we're being naughty or nice. Don't be afraid. Come on now. This is a relationship. Treat it as though when you trying to holler at somebody and you courting and you want to make sure it works. If it's not a good fit, back out early. Come on and say, okay, I might have lost some money. I took her out. I took him out. It may have cost me a little bit of cheese, but I'm not going to make an investment. That's what my business BFF says. Accounting is an investment. It's an investment. And I want you to also realize, don't put all that weight on one person. A bookkeeper may have accounting skills. They may know tax. They may not. But understand that if you're in a bookkeeping engagement, that's all you're doing is bookkeeping. An accountant has a little bit more skills than a bookkeeper in some cases. I'm not going to say it all. In some cases. Your accounting may be doing CFO work. They may be doing some of your tax work. They may be doing bookkeeping. Bookkeeping is an action, okay? Understand what you're getting in an engagement when you're dealing with an accountant. Your tax pro may have no idea how to do accounting. I'm not going to lie to you. Don't make the assumption that they do. They may have no idea how to do accounting. They may just know taxes. They may have just got certified, trained to just do the tax returns. They may only know how to do 1040s, have no idea really how to schedule C's and the E's interact with it. You lucky if they do. They may not have any idea how to do an estate return. They are 1120S for the S corporation, 1120 for the C corporation, a 1065 for the partnership, a 764 estates. Right? They may or may not know how to do that. They may have no idea how to do a 990. I know I don't. I don't touch 990s. Could I learn? Yeah, that's nonprofit stuff. Nonprofit ain't my strong suit. But I got somebody for you if you interested. Know who you're dealing with. Know what you're getting. Make sure it's laid out. Okay? And understand, when you come into the table and you asking anybody to do prior year returns, because we are in a current tax season, if you go back, that's resolution. That's a whole different type of fee, different structure. Past stuff, prior year returns that you're trying to get people to catch you up so you can be in compliance, that's resolution. And so don't get mad when people tell you that. Hey, I'm going to charge you this much because I got to go pull the other software, this, down the other. I got to do this. I got to go look up the rules for that time. And we in the live, we in the here and now. And I'm operating in the here and now knowing that code. I got to go back and remember what we did and what the rules were there, the nuances there. That's resolution. I might have to research. I got to do some correspondence. I got to advocate for you. That's resolution. And if you got to deal with an auditor, trust. Some people, your bookkeeper might not. They might have to be around, but they might not know what to say to the auditor. Your accountant may, and your tax pro may or may not. So you may have to go hire another person. It just so happens that the tax cop understands it from this angle to that angle. Why? Because over at Total Tax Experience, my firm, we dealing with it from the transaction on. However, accounting is not transactional. It is a relationship. Its core principles is communication. And if we're doing a terrible job of communicating, we got to fix that first. The same client that I said is one of my favorite clients had to check me in the same time. You making me feel like I'm this, and this. That's called relationships. They had to check me. So I'm going to give you these takeaways. To get over your accounting trauma. Figure out what you want. Figure out what you don't want. Don't be afraid to ask the person that you are working with, what is going on in this engagement? What am I getting? What am I not getting? Can you put it in writing? Tell them what your needs are, but be willing to listen to the professional say, based on our discussion, I think you also need X, Y, and Z. And if they are honest enough and they don't have the capacity or can't do it, because I've been there where I say, yeah, I could do it, and be like, ooh, I shouldn't have done this. Be honest and ask them that question. Hey, do you have the capacity? How long is it going to take? Those questions are valid questions. If anything go askew, we're going to tell you it go askew. It may cost more. It may not. They may give you your stuff back because it's just that jacked. They may need more information. They may not just be working on your stuff straight. Because remember, accountants are business owners, and we seem to forget that. Like, we're not out here just doing community service. Right? But we ain't out here to rape you either. A lawyer, you automatically be like, a lawyer gonna cost me. I feel like at this tier you shouldn't cost me as much as a lawyer because you ain't doing nothing. We dealing with laws. We dealing with regulations. It's based in something. A true accountant, right? Bookkeepers got rules. We got laws and regulations. We got principles. That stuff is based on. It ain't a game. The same thing with tax. It's law associated. You can go to jail. They got our fingerprints on file. So don't be afraid to ask the questions. Hey, can I get some reviews? Can I get a reference? Don't be afraid to ask those questions. Figure out if it's a good fit. And sometimes it is niche based. And sometimes it ain't niche based. Sometimes some of us, I've had people who talk to me and I'm like, ooh, you got a little bit more tech than I'm used to. Some of those techs your tech stack, I'm not used to. But I got a girlfriend who is. She can do this. Or this person right here, based on what you're telling me you need and the touch you need, I don't work in that manner, but I got somebody who can give you a little bit more hand holding and touching than I do. Listen to and go interview that same person. I've had people come to me and say, all right, I'm gonna give you the rules, I'm gonna tell you this, and then I'm gonna tell you you can't work with me, and this is why you can't work with me, but I'm gonna make a referral. And I'm gonna tell you why. I am not the best fit. And I'll tell you honestly, if a person tell you you're not the best fit, but they got somebody because they know somebody in their arsenal that you can work better with, listen to them and do the interview. It don't hurt to ask. Go spend your time, because it's a relationship, your time and your dollars with somebody who is worthwhile. Right? So we're going to recap that real quick. I got to get to a point where I put the rules up here and the bullets and tell y'all what it is. Right? Number one, figure out what it is you need and what you don't need. Figure out, number two, figure out the engagement that you're in and lay that thing out. Make sure it's in, number three, make sure that engagement is in writing and it says what y'all agreed to. Notice I've not said anything about price. You know your budget coming in the door. You know what you can spend and what you can't spend. Okay? You know what you're willing to spend and what you're not willing to spend. And you know what your money will let you do. I've told people, you don't need an accountant. This is what you need. Figure out what can work. But you got to define that scope and work with somebody who's willing to define the scope of your particular needs so you can get over that and be willing to be a willing participant in the relationship. I'm going to say that again. Be willing to be a willing participant in the relationship. Don't talk down to the accountant. Don't let the accountant talk down to you. Have dialogue. There will be conflict. Y'all not going to agree on everything. We will make mistakes. So will you. You'll miss deadlines. It'll happen. But be willing to have that dialogue and be willing to cultivate the relationship until it's outgrown and y'all got to go y'all separate ways. And the fifth thing is, so you can get over accountant trauma, truly, it's actually 5 and 6. Professionally break up with the person that you are currently working with. If it's the bookkeeper, the accountant, the resolution, whoever, professionally break up with them. And number 6, give yourself and give the next person that you work with some grace and mercy. Don't give them your litany of list and just attack them and hold them responsible for what the other people have done. This is a relationship, right? We all do this in our relationships in the past. I'm bringing all my baggage from the old. Don't bring that baggage. Work on you first. Write down what you liked. Write down what you didn't like. And tell the person you work with, hey, when I worked with my previous accountant, when I worked with my previous bookkeeper, the last person that was helping me with the tax problem, I love this that they did. I didn't like this. Share. Make it open. Make it a working relationship. Why? Because it's going to help you exhale. It's going to help them exhale. And y'all going to build a relationship for the time that you need to be together and until the time you go your separate ways. Whew. It took me a moment to get this together, but I think this is truly the message that I was supposed to deliver the way I was supposed to deliver it this week. Accounting trauma is real. Accountant trauma is real. And this is my opportunity as the tax cop to reach out to you and give you a virtual hug and tell you, for anybody who has hurt you in my industry, in this space, even if it was me and you're listening, that was truly not our intent. Give us a time and an opportunity to get it together. Know that we love you and we really do care. This is a way for us to help you solve your problems. Figure out how to make decisions based off of things in the past so you can move forward and do the best thing you can. Because when you excel, when you grow, so do we. And you'll get to a point where you outgrow us. Or either we grow with you. And that's a great thing. So my virtual hug, my apology for any of that accounting hurt, those wounds, those traumas, the times where we didn't listen to you, I apologize. Go find somebody who will listen to you, who will love on you, who will help you dissect the problem and not judge you. If it's a tax problem, if it's some bills that haven't been paid in the past, if it's some stuff you don't know, who will hold your hand either in person or virtually to help you grow to that next tier, to empower you so that we can show you that, baby, it really is only addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Truly just addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. That's all. So that's this week's episode of Talks with the Tax Cop. We're going to get some people on here, some clients on here talking, breaking stuff down so I can interview. I got some topics I want to share with you all so you can digest them in a palatable way. I take it, I count it as an honor and privilege. I don't take it by happenstance. If you stop past to here, I am back. I will be consistent. I got to at least have as many episodes as I did last season. Hello? We got a trademark brand. We out in these streets. We working on some stuff to best serve you. If this podcast episode helped you, let me know what your favorite part was. If it's some parts that you still were unclear on, let me know. If we got to do a part 2, let me know. And then we'll get back to the teaching sessions and the interviews so that you can understand that Talks with the Tax Cop is truly a safe space for you to be able to show up and be the best that you can be. It's not just for business owners, even though that's primarily my heart is for the small business owner. It really is. But I know we all got to start somewhere. And so the first thing we got to do is get past that hurt and be able to do it in a loving manner. All right. So that's what I got for you this week. Till next week.